I have had the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra for the last month. I have subtly taken it out and about inside the keyboard case and just generally used it as my computing device. Let's talk about Samsung's successor to the Tab S9 Ultra. Let's go. The first thing that struck me about the Tab S10 Ultra is how much it didn't strike me. Visually and aesthetically, there is not much of a difference between this and the Tab S9 Ultra from last year. In spending the last month with it, it actually also hasn't transformed my tablet usage either. I'm not doing anything different with this compared to what I was doing with the Tab S9 Ultra. What it has done though is completely transformed the viewing experience and sort of where I can use it. The tablet's meant to be on the go. So taking a tablet out and about like I am right now, I'm meant to be able to visually enjoy the display in lots of different environments. The thing with this tablet is it's got this new anti-glare coating, just like the S24 Ultra did, and it is truly transformative. For me, right now, I'm in like a indoor lit room, but with some like outdoor lighting sort of coming in through the window, and this display, I don't see a thing. Completely blocks the reflections and removes distractions. And that's been a big part of this first sort of month with it, is I've noticed that immensely. The coating too enhances the display. Blacks are deeper, colors are more contrasty. You can just appreciate the display a lot more due to the fact that there's not reflections bouncing all over the place. Samsung, in bringing this feature, has made a huge improvement, I would say, to the display experience of the Tab S10 Ultra versus the Tab S9. But that design, on the other hand, hasn't really changed. The footprint of the device is the same in terms of it can fit inside the same case as the Tab S9 Ultra from last year. I've been using the keyboard case from the Tab S9 Ultra with the Tab S10 Ultra, absolutely no problems. It fits inside perfectly and everything lines up and I can use it perfectly, say perfectly more. In that sense, I can save myself some money from getting the new Tab S10 Ultra keyboard, although there is that new Galaxy AI button on the keyboard for the Tab S10 Ultra. Although how much is that really worth buying a whole new keyboard for? We'll talk about Galaxy AI in a moment. Firstly, I want to talk about the fact that they have actually made the design slimmer. It is now 5.4 millimeters thin, which is definitely thinner than what you were getting on the Tab S9 Ultra from last year, and you can see that difference when they're lined up next to each other. What I do like is that whilst this in day-to-day usage, you won't notice this too much, I've got the Peak Design backpack, and for me, I have trouble getting the tablet and my laptop in together at the same time, just because of how thick they are. But this fraction of a millimeter thinner device with the Tab S10 Ultra has actually made it easier to get and fit inside, especially when space is at a premium in the backpack itself. Again, that is not a reason that you would jump out and upgrade from Tab S9 Ultra to Tab S10 Ultra. I just thought I'd highlight it because I've noticed it in my usage. A big part of the Tab S10 Ultra launch is the fact that it's launching with Galaxy AI. And it's launching with all of the new Galaxy AI features that you were getting on the Fold 6 and Flip 6 with oneui 6.1.1. Now for me, the way that Samsung have implemented the Galaxy AI features for the tablet is so well optimized for the design and the form factor that it just makes sense. They've kind of broken it down into three categories. You have sort of socializing with chat assist and interpreter. You have the middle section, which is definitely more towards productivity, and the bottom, which is all about creativity with generative edit and sketch to image, for example, drawing assist that they're calling it. I really like the productivity stuff though, especially inside Samsung Notes. Samsung have optimized the UI really nicely. When you do select auto format or summarize, it doesn't take over the whole screen. It sort of puts it off to the side. And all your summary and your format, it sort of sits alongside the note, takes advantage of that screen real estate. When you sort of swipe through your formatting or when you're sort of reading a summary, it doesn't dominate the screen. It's just there as sort of part of it. The same can be said for browsing assist. I like sort of browsing websites and seeing that the summary sort of, again, sits on the side, and then you've got the main body of the article on the other side. What I like too is that you can drag it around. So if you wanted to, you could sort of make it bigger, more prominent, or even make it more slimmer, or just slide it off to the side altogether. So it just sort of sits there. It's almost like a dock that you can then slide out to read. Samsung have really thought about the user experience of Galaxy AI on the tablet itself, and I'm here for it. And then of course you've got all the stuff around sketch to image, and again you've got that bigger canvas with the S Pen to take advantage of being able to use that display for that creativity with AI. And then of course I sort of wanted to talk about how it's performed. Now, It's not using a Snapdragon, which is really crazy to say out loud. Samsung are not using the latest flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy inside the Tab S10 Ultra. It's using a MediaTek Dimensity chip, which is, I think, okay. I understand the reasons why Samsung have gone down this path, but I question whether or not they needed to release this now. They could have waited and potentially launched this with the 8 Gen 4 for Galaxy earlier next year alongside the S25 series, but they've decided to do it now. And we just have to judge it on what it is.
Just a little editor's note to add in. God, I love some editor's notes at the moment. The MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus is what is being used inside the Tab S10 Ultra. When I spoke to Samsung, the reason why they brought it forward and the reason why they used this chip is they actually got to work closely with MediaTek on the chip to optimize it for Galaxy AI. Samsung have quite a lot of benchmarks that they need to hit Galaxy AI to be supported with the processor, and they were able to work closely with MediaTek to optimize it. There's definitely improvements over the previous generation, so performance will not be an issue. And the reason they brought it forward was because they saw a bit of a gap in the market with customers demanding flagship tablets with an out-of-the-box Galaxy AI experience. That's what was sort of said, and that's why we have it now.
But in my early sort of month with it that I've had it, I've found it to be nothing short of fluid. Everything is sort of launched and operated smoothly. Samsung DeX in particular launches rapidly quick. And I think for me, with my workflow of using this to like write my scripts out on the go, I really like that option of being able to utilize that quicker than what I've been able to do previously. Now, in my sort of early usage, I've kind of determined that the main big quality of life upgrade here is the display. In all my usage that I've done with it inside the last 4 weeks, I've really noticed that to be the main thing, because whether that be outdoors, whether I'm indoors consuming media, whether I'm just using it as like a source monitor for YouTube, all of it, that display makes such a big difference. Like it did with the S24 Ultra at the start of the year, where outdoor reflectivity just dissipated away and you could just enjoy the screen for a lot more what it was. But it's more than that. Having a device that you are meant to take on the go and with a canvas this big, it kind of changes the whole feel of how you view things, because you're not getting the distractions of what's going on behind you. You're not seeing your own reflection as easier. You're just being able to focus on the content that you're working on in front of you or consuming from a media perspective. That is a huge difference. And I think that will be something that a lot of people will notice immediately when they start to use this, especially if they're coming from either a Tab S8 or Tab S9 Ultra. They will notice it. Now, the Tab S10 Ultra and the Tab S10 Plus are not the only devices Samsung have launched today. They also have the Galaxy S24 FE. And I've made a full comparison with the S24 FE versus the S24. And you can go check that out after you've watched this one if you like. Otherwise, hit subscribe to Tech with Benefits and you will find way more coverage of this to come. See you in the next one.